Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.
If you are looking at a career in data science, that is a career of tomorrow. If you are looking at human resources as an example, so can you think of what is beyond human resources? Can you think of a machines manager, machines resources manager, somebody who's responsible for decommissioning machines and then really looking at the systems of tomorrow, right? That will completely become a very important theme.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Conversations in Quarantine. We are again reaching out to people all over the world, and this time this takes us to London, global cities that everybody's dying to get to one day. To talk about that and to talk about career in finance, we've got someone very interesting with us. His name is Dilpreet. Dilpreet, welcome to Conversations in Quarantine.
Kunj, thank you so much for having me.
Tell me a little bit more about what, as a student, I should be focusing on right now.
Couple of skills out there. One is to learn more on the data science side, so you can run an SQL query, you learn Python programming along the way. These are skills which will really help you in the industry anytime and anywhere. There was a time when China was the manufacturing outsourcing capital of the world, but in the world going ahead, I think especially manufacturing will come closer to the point of sale itself, and which means machines will be available at much lower cost. How do you equip yourself with innovative ideas? So innovation is a very important theme and should be a very important subject in MBA schools itself to really think about use cases of the future as well. I think it's always important to be a subject matter expert because there is a lot of respect in the industry when you specialize in something. So when I speak to younger ones, I say that over the span of maybe 6-7 years, try out pretty much everything. And then once you are through 6-7 years in your life, start focusing and specializing in one thing, which you will develop your forte in over the next 10 years. And then you will be known in the industry that, okay, wow, you are the master in one thing, and you could help in collaboration activities as you meet other people who are masters of some other things and build a team together and do something which is very exciting in the future.
What do you think are going to be the larger implications of COVID-19 on the financial systems of the world?
It's one of these life-changing aspects in our lifetime, right? And we did not see it coming. But now humanity knows that these things will become quite commonplace going ahead, and we have to adjust ourselves in a way in our long-term strategy that how do we think about environment, how do we think about sustainability as we develop our tech as well at never seen before pace. So a couple of themes that I think in my head, right? A lot of companies have been looking at so much of real estate investment to create these really tall towers and put people out there. I think that is a theme of the past now. With this COVID situation, the amount of collaborative tools that have come up, right, is just super immense. When you look at something like a Zoom, the valuation of Zoom is around $48 billion right now. And that's more than the top 6 airlines combined together, which is around $46 billion. And this just speaks about how collaborative tools, subscription services, recurring revenue services will become the theme going ahead. While a lot of fintech companies have done well, but a lot of fintech companies are also going out of business because they don't have the cash to sustain in this ecosystem. And that's why you have so much of money which is being thrown through by central banks as well, right? To just keep the cycle going. But what will happen now is I see a wave of M&A consolidation as well. So a lot of big tech players will look at smaller fintech companies, the ones which are very talented, but the talented ones may be going out of business because they don't have the cash. And this becomes a very attractive acquisition opportunity for the big tech companies as well. My message to everyone is that constantly look out for new challenges and don't sit in your comfort zone. Constantly try to expand your horizons as a human being. We have maybe 3 or 4 decades of productive life, and then it's about chilling out, enjoying life, so on and so forth. Having said that, there was a time in life when I used to think, oh, wow, I will know so much more in about 10 years' time. But I realize now that the world is evolving at such a rapid pace that you're constantly feeling, wow.
Can you contrast your typical day in your new finance role compared to your typical day in a traditional finance?
You will hear buzzwords, so many of them. Now, these are technologies which will enable certain use cases which do not exist today. Like, just consider yourself that if you were in 1972 or 1985, the time when TCP, Internet Protocol, all of that was just evolving. Could we have thought about Facebook or Instagram back then? Probably not. Some of them really have been pioneers who have been thinking about it. Similarly, in this world, right, we are in the world wherein the internet revolution is going through a transition again. What we had earlier was an internet of information, and what we are moving towards is an internet of value, wherein value, anything of value, right? Stocks, bonds, currencies, artist value as well. Anything can be tokenized. It could really move and exchange hands between counterparties in a peer-to-peer way. So that possibility that global commerce will really become peer-to-peer in nature, that's incredibly exciting. And as the world develops, it would be more of automations. And along the way, as you build your journey, you could have an incredibly automated company, considered Amazon, but a very decent or a very centralized solution because they are just looking at their ecosystem. Or you could have something like a Bitcoin ecosystem, which is truly decentralized and highly automated as well. And I'm not saying that the world will evolve in any one particular way. All of these different ecosystems will develop. The most important point is that you always look at use cases. You put clients, it could be retail clients, it could be institutional clients. You put them at the center of all of these experiences and then think, how is automation developing around them? Could we build a decentralized ecosystem around it? How does financing change for them? What does new capital structure look like for them? So on and so forth, right? And that's how the world is evolving. And for people who are trying to get grounding in different technologies, the idea is always speak to clients, speak to people who have been in the industry, and ask them, what problem are you trying to solve? Because the most important thing is the problem statement itself. And once you know what problem you're trying to solve, then the solution or the technology stack is secondary, right? That comes after you know what problem you're trying to solve, literally. So there have been some companies on the blockchain side as well, which in the last 5 or 6 years have been able to figure out what problem they're trying to solve, right? You could actually solve for cross-border payments. It could be investment banking, exchanging securities for investment bank and really deriving fair market value of those securities as well. There are many use cases, but the idea is you have to figure out that what use case are you solving for and how is the competition developing around it? What was the traditional financial world looking like? What are the new emerging technologies? Can I make the client experience better with this fintech collaboration that I'm building along the way? And really think very strategically as we move along, right? That's really the way to go about it. I really see a couple of trends which will move forward, that there would never be a position wherein the traditional banking giants and the new fintech will be at loggerheads, because that model may not really flow well. But when you talk about collaboration, that you have these traditional banking giants who have the trust of the customers and they are really global in scale. And then you have the fintech companies who are much smaller, very nimble, and really great minds are trying to join the fintech companies. So they're very agile in the development as well. And when these two worlds will come together in collaboration, that's how the development will happen going ahead.
What is it exactly that you do at JP Morgan now?
They advertise for something called an innovation concept manager, stroke a product innovation manager for the investment banking and corporate banking side. And I ended up getting that role. And the exciting thing for this is that we have an innovation team at JP Morgan, which is quite global. And the innovation team is looking at use cases and products and services of the future. So the idea is, can we transform the bank of the future? So when you look at a real-time treasury going ahead, you will have real-time payments, real-time liquidity, real-time FX, real-time hedging. And those things will become quite commonplace for treasurers in a couple of years. And that's what our team broadly does. So when you look at innovation, it's many horizons. You will have this incremental innovation, which product managers do. Then you will be looking at adjacent markets, and that's horizon 2. But the horizon 3 is, can we look at products and services which do not exist today, and they will become the products and services of the future? But do they have the scale? When clients are looking at collaboration partners, they're looking at somebody who will help them at a global level, right? Who will help them in different geographies. And that's where JP Morgan really is exciting for me, because here is an opportunity for me to make a global impact with innovation in co-creating with our clients.
What are some of the larger trends that you're seeing that are impacting your work and your day-to-day understanding of what kind of innovation you're going to see in the financial space?
Sometimes you wouldn't be able to make out, is it a technology company, is it a bank? Because banks are changing in many ways. In the very
Right.
beginning, retail banking was the space that got disrupted, and then the commercial banking side started getting disrupted. And now is the time when investment banking, corporate banking is definitely becoming this place which is facing a lot of challenges from the technology companies as well. So it's really trying to evolve along the way. And when it comes to clients and solutions, you're looking at emerging technologies which are definitely changing the landscape in many ways. We're looking at artificial intelligence and machine learning, which is becoming quite commonplace. We're looking at API, application programming interfaces, which really help these different disparate systems connect in much better ways. So we look at treasury management systems, ERP systems, banks' own internal systems, and they are able to talk to each other in a lot more seamless way. And the big theme there is big data, right? So if you look at velocity, variety, volume of data, and the amount of data that is being thrown at companies when they look at their consumers, and when consumers are going about their spending patterns in their payments journeys with their vendors, their buyers, and making these strategic choices of capital along the way. All of that data is getting thrown at banks as well as companies, tech companies as well. And can you present insights of the future by churning that data in a meaningful way? That's a big question for this collaboration journey. You have blockchain as well, right? So the idea is, will the world going ahead become more decentralized, or will you have power centers which will still hold a lot of control over the ecosystem? So that's a debate that is constantly evolving. And then cloud is a very important theme as well, right? You have such nimble cloud operated systems. Data is becoming more secure as well in one way. And then you also have a lot of things which are helping clients, especially from a risk perspective on the security side. So they're constantly being challenged by hackers, so on and so forth. So the idea is, how can you evolve your security systems in a way so that there is never a compromise on the client data, so on and so forth, right? And in the world going ahead, augmented reality, virtual reality, these sort of trends will become quite commonplace for us. So when I really speak to my friends, I tell them that if you are looking at a career in data science, that is the career of tomorrow. If you are looking at human resources as an example, so can you think of what is beyond human resources? Can you think of a machines manager, machines resources manager, somebody who's responsible for decommissioning machines and then really looking at the systems of tomorrow, right? That will completely become a very important theme. And one thing which probably will never go out is strategy itself, right? So when you look at strategic plans, I think human beings will always be better at making strategic plans when it comes to machines, right? Machines can be used for augmenting your capabilities. But when you look at evolving strategically, that's where human beings can really make an impact, unless and until there comes a stage wherein you have reached a point of singularity and machine intelligence has gone beyond human intelligence. So in our lifetime, hopefully, we will be able to build more on our strategic side as well and help machines augment our capabilities going ahead. When you become a digital person, it's really good because now you can go into any industry and every industry will become more digital.
Hi guys, Inside IIM has come up with an exciting new one-on-one mentorship product where you get to interact with superstar managers from different businesses, different functions. You can ask them everything around your career, your education, your future success. If you are interested, the link is in the description below. Thanks.